Yeah, it's actually a pretty standard ban against all authority.
Yep.
And there we go, the instant Morgana ban coming out as well. Definitely against all authority have been watching these games. Like, hey, Monomaniac, they've been running the same champion.
Yeah, I think Momo was saying in chat select, he's like, Nintendo, I was standing behind you yesterday during your games.
Oh yeah. So absolutely, the Kennen coming out as well. So it's going to be aimed at Soaz there, who has been a very dominant Kennen player. Looking at the earlier picks though from Mono, I mean they've run Lee Sin, they've run Jungle Ribbon actually, which is the first time we've seen Jungle Ribbon for a while in a LAN tournament. So that's actually really interesting as well. And we'll kind of see how this depth goes. I think Mono has an edge here in that they're a lesser known team. I think the obvious picks of bans are not so well known. You're seeing, okay, yeah, we saw you ran Morgana all 3 games in a row. We'll ban Shen because he's Shen. I think everyone kind of understands that one. But MM, you're seeing them ban champions that they know against all authority runs, and that's actually a really powerful thing to bring out there. Is say, yeah, maybe Mr. Paradox makes you play that champion, but we're gonna kill off Carlos anyway because we know that Momo loves that guy.
Yep. And that Shen ban is something that against all authority was actually caught off guard very hard in Hanover. They were like, we didn't think that was gonna happen, and actually that is something that they expressed again here. They're like, he was kind of hit. We saw that Hotshot didn't play that well with him, but during that time Hotshot was in Korea, he had built that lead there, that Shen up. So, and then we see our first pick coming in, a very aggressive mid. Cassiopeia is picked up by Nintendo, and we'll see if Paradox can push that Cass in.
You know what's great is he had Cassiopeia typed into his chat box already and was just spamming left click. And then as soon as Lee Sin was bad, he's like, kill bucket. It's fine. I got Cassiopeia. Which I think is actually really cool because it means that against authority, I mean, they have a minute to respond and get the picks through. But they basically, they're already on the button. And if they're discussing, okay, if they first pick this, we'll do this. If they first pick this, we'll do that. It's like, crap, okay. Okay, so we're going to do
switch it up.
counter lane. So I like this. This is a very aggressive champion. Cassiopeia has a lot of really good strength. So she brings out area of effect crowd control with Miasma and with her ultimate Petrifying Gaze. She brings great ganking because she can push waves out and then run to a lane and then come back. And ooh, they're going for that Janna Corki right away. So Yellowstar really loves playing Corki. He's one of his most played champions. And you kind of see inflated Corki stats throughout these tournaments because you see Yellowstar pretty much picking every single game. Where Corki was like half the game. Yeah, that's just what that's how it works. But you're seeing a lot of these picks come out here. Hogboss still available. Olaf and Tarek being picked up here, so they're going to set up for what seems to be an aggressive bottom lane for Tarek. He's really good at bullying out the plates.
This Olaf is coming in a lot in this tournament, and really where he's being utilized is within those team fights. He's the guy that says, I will take all those cooldowns. Give them to me. He wants to get in there in the front of the fight and get hit. And then his ultimate just clears all that away, and it's really going to give Monomaniac a great chance in the upper hand of the fight when all those cooldowns are down. So we'll watch for Zig to do that. We do have the Maokai pick, not locked in yet, but it is going to be Moma on Anivia in middle, so he's going to be able to keep his distance from Cassiopeia on Paradox. That's actually quite a good pick, and they can both push the lane quite well. Moma not as much until 6, but he may find himself at the tower before that.
Yeah, so you're kind of seeing, it's kind of cool because it's a revival of champions we didn't see very much in Canada.
Yeah.
We saw at, I think it was IPL 3, a lot of these other champions coming out, but ahead of where we didn't really see much Nivea or much Maokai, and now here they're coming back into the fold as these very common champions coming out. Again, looks like they're actually going to go for that jungle ribbon once more. They liked that before, and they can combo with Olaf for some nice flows and true damage to stuns. But ooh, Tarek Urgot, that would be quite the crazy bottom lane there. They could definitely pull these guys out, or they could run a Moscow 5, give Urgot that blue buff, let him solo bottom and have Tarek roam. Tarek Riven ganks are going to be brutal. There's nobody going to escape. They're going to get stunned.
Riven has so much distance she can clear out of the jungle just to get through a gank, and then multiple ways to stun you. And then with red buff, it's pretty much over. So that's going to be scary.
Yeah, that would be scary. That ends up being the case. I think they really can do it. I don't think Janna Corki can bully all that well because there's no heal there in that lane, and Corki's a mid-range guy. He's not like a Caitlyn where he can kind of shoot super far away. So you have the ability to beat Urgot and just zone that lane. I think it's absolutely possible. We're going to see Yellowstar go for the last pick. It's going to be their solo top champion, which is going to be given to Soaz here. He knows he's going to be fighting against Urgot, but fighting against Olaf, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to go for yet.
Oh, that's a good pick. Before that, I was thinking that Against All Authority was only going to have Maokai in the fight. He's like, that's all your health. But that Renekton pick gives them the ability to get in the fight after Twisted Advance and continue to stay in there, because there's a lot of Paradox with Cassiopeia. Throwing down Miasma is going to be right in the middle of the fight. And if it was only Leanak that was going to be tanky and then in the jungle, not going to help.
Yeah, so they have a nice, two-person front line here. MM, though, has 3. They've got Olaf, Tarek, and Riven all up in the front there. They've got Urgot and Cassiopeia. This team actually is very, very tanky. You've got Urgot, who typically builds, Frozen Heart, a lot of Doran's Blades as well, kind of gets tanky there. Cassiopeia, kind of a similar build, usually gets Spell Vamp and a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. I've even seen some guys just go for a Warmogs pretty early on in their build. But Moba bringing out Anivia, I actually haven't seen him play Anivia in a while. We saw Counterlogic Gaming run that champion, I think, 3 times so far in this tournament. 3 of their 5 games have had Anivia there. Corki, pretty much, honestly, it's about 100% for Yellow Star. If he ever wants it, he'll just grab it. And so you're going to see, these guys are going to play champions that they know very well, and that's what it's going to take to win these games.
Yeah, both of these teams are kind of, none of them really stick to each other. None of them are really going to be the first hard to initiate. There's no real good initiation from either team. If Paradox can get a good ult from cast down, usually you want to hit that when they're turning on your team so you can get the face shot on everybody. If you hit them while their back is turned, it's only going to slow them. We do have, as I said, that Renekton to start off the fights with Lenac. But like I said, Lenac in the jungle isn't going to get too tanky right off the bat. And if he's countered at all, which MM likes to do, it's going to make it even harder because Maokai is very easy to counter in the jungle.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get, I would expect him to get invaded on. And,
that's a good level 1 team. Yeah,
and actually, I was wrong, actually. It looks like it's going to be Riven at the top, by the way, and Olaf at the bottom. So, sorry, I forget if you actually mentioned that when I just repeated you. But,
nope.
Yeah, so we're actually switching that up, and I just would have assumed, right, because Riven was juggling before, and we've always seen Olaf at the solo top, but they're switching it up a little bit, I think, that they believe this will give them the best chance to win. And so, Olaf, a very, very fast clear, less good at ganking than Riven, can still come out there with a slow, can still come out with a lot of burst damage, actually. So certainly not a bad pick by any means, but it actually gives them a little bit less dominance there. And I feel like he duels not quite as well as Riven either, so he's less of a bully against that Maokai. He can go in and invade, he can do pretty well, will have really good health sustain through his W and all that. But I'm still a little bit surprised by that pick. I kind of would have thought it would go the other way here, but maybe Zion Spartan says, look, Nintendo dude, I'm going to let you finish. You have a good Riven and all, but I'm the best Riven of all time. And, maybe that's the possibility here. I don't quite know, but I mean, look at these lanes, and I don't know if Tarek goes for the roam, that's going to be really, really brutal.
I'm just realized, unless they switch these before this clock goes down, we'll see.
This is locked in.
Yeah, we're going to see MM versus AAA in just a few seconds, but there is 1 exhaust on N-rated. That's it. So these fights are going to be all out in your face. Nobody's going to have any mitigation to the damage. It's flash and ignite on pretty much everybody. Urgot's got that heal, but these fights are just going to be in your face, and there's going to be a lot of kiting, but all the damage is going to be at top notch because there's 0 exhaust. Usually you'll see that coming out at least from the supports, but we don't have it on MM support.
That's true, yeah. So yeah, the 1 exhaust at all in the game is actually very, very surprising. When watching the Dignitas games before, they would run it on about 3 of their champions. Yeah. Usually you'd have Locust run exhaust heal for the most part on his supports and just sort of be up there on the front line. If he got low, he just...
Or even in the jungle.
Yeah. The junglers, you've seen Mundo bring exhaust almost every single time as well. Just runs in there, hits you with a cleaver, hits you with exhaust, and you get kind of chain slowed and knocked down. But instead, you're going to see, Soaz run Ignite Flash up top against Zion Spartan on Riven, also running Ignite Flash up at the top of the map. Both mages as well running Ignite Flash here. And then, yeah, the AD carries are bringing out heals to try to keep themselves alive, but the supports, they're bringing out their clairvoyances, they're bringing out, there is the 1 exhaust for N-rated, but that's it.
And as we load in here, it's really battle cast Urgot. I like it. We're going to see what they do. We did say they had a pretty nice level 1 invade. They do, however, have Anivia and Jano, which can put out that Flash Frost into Howling Gale, which is going to pop you up. And it could stun the whole team. Usually you like to stay in that bunch of 5. Everybody tries to gather into 1 bush. But we do have Tarek's Dazzle. You also have Riven that can continuously just hit and finally get that stun off. That movement is such an advantage in the chase, especially at level 1 when everybody's so slow. And we'll have to see, if N-rated can really help his team here with that Janna passive, if they can get first blood and get out of there with a good kite. Purchases are going out, supports regular fairy charms and wards, nothing big there. Maokai actually going for the revival, and there we see the 2 teams, AAA versus Monomaniac. Guys, if you want to see Against All Authority come out with the first match of the day here, let's hear it for Against All Authority. Monomaniac trying to make their name in their first tournament live here at the Cosmopolitan. If you want to see Monomaniac take the first game of the day, let's hear it. All right, Freak, these guys are in, and it doesn't look like they're doing too much but milling about on opposite sides of the map right now.
Yeah, so it's like actually MM looks like they want to go for the aggression. They're the only team with clairvoyance, which means they have a very big innate advantage in terms of the early invasions. However, if you look, against all authority have already put down a couple of wards here and Maokai saplings to try to look for these invasions. And the thing is, though, they're not watching their own blue buff, which you'd think is where Maokai would want to go at some point. And Mono's just getting themselves there for free. They're picking some of these brushes. They're going to go down. Got this fry brush. Of course, no one is there.
You know, a lot of the things I've noticed lately is that people are understanding more where the shadow cuts are on vision, and they'll just hide out in the open, but it's only out in the open once that person turns the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're just seeing him, and they're like, hey, we got all the way into blue buff. Let's send Zion back to recall. Let's have Riven go back to the top lane and see him kind of chill there. Has cloth armor and 5 health potions. Everyone else splitting up as well, which means Maokai is definitely going to lose his golem buff right at the start of the game. And now maybe he knows that, and they're going to invade over. But MM has their own ward at their own golem, so there's no way I think Maokai is going to be able to get his own blue buff. And Corki's about...
Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, surprise! Jumped off a Yellowstar, but it was a great flash back, actually. They're not taking all that much damage. Oh, it's going to be close. 50 health left. He's actually going to survive that. Didn't even use his health potion. Had that much confidence. Sapling says, hi, guys. Oh, you're here.
He had his finger on flash as soon as he cast Phosphorus. Like, he was ready to flash.
All right, who's going to smite it? It's going to go to MM, though. Linek was in range.
Ooh.
Just better reaction there by Nintendo X. Good job stealing away that blue buff. That is going to hurt Maokai's jungle. You can see low on mana and not even close to leveling. This is really good for
very much so. Yeah, already. He might have to pull somebody else.
Oh, top lane. Hold on. So taking a lot of damage from Zion Spartan. They trade back and forth. Ignite us off on a Zion Spartan. He's got a health potion chugging. He actually chugged. He has 3 of them in queue right now. So he's going to wait. And over the next 45 seconds, he'll heal a whole lot.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's really going to hurt Linek as he goes around the jungle. However, it looks like he has some mana regen on him anyways, so he's already back up to half. Back down to bottom. We will have to see. He might have to call for some help from Renekton as he goes top towards red and golems. So and Spartan both at level 2 as they heal back up. That was a pretty close fight there. A lot of aggression right out of the gate, and we actually see Nintendo X heading top with his blue. Actually, that's going to be Linak's blue, and they may get him here. Remember, there is no exhaust. They're just going to have to work off the damage. Oh, just missing Undertow, and he's able to get out. There's a fight in middle. Paradox getting hit pretty hard, but Moma could go down. He is egged by the poison. He's sitting in miasma. He may go down for the minions. Oh, he's going to go down. Wow.
And he's still chasing Paradox. Can get this with Twin Fang. He's going up under the turret. One more Q. He might pick up the double, but the health potions are just doing a little bit too much for him. Leonock, do not. Leonock, you're good. Okay. 20 point top lane looks like Riven fighting a little bit against this guy. That was real close.
I have 1,200 plus games. I've never seen a Nivea die like that.
Oh man, that was all kinds of cute. Oh wow, ooh, Olaf stealing away the red, knows that Maokai had to babysit mid lane.
That MM counter jungle is very strong.
Yeah, and seriously, junglers, guys out there, if you're listening, when the enemy jungler has to take over a lane for someone that got pushed out, steal some buffs. That's pretty much 100%, and that was the right play there by Nintendo. And the thing is, this is what Monomaniac has done pretty much the entire tournament. Is they know how to win lanes, they know how to win early game, but no amount of advantage is necessarily going to matter. You can have Baron, 7 turrets, and 12 kills, and you still might throw it. So it's definitely a big deal for them to be able to close one out. Let's see if they learned anything from yesterday. Right now, they're opening up very, very strong, and we'll see if they can keep this going. So
Paradox chose to stay. It looks like he has pretty good money right now. Oh, yeah, he actually did go and buy. He's back down to 500. He got that Dorans for himself, so he's going to be able to regen a little bit better. Top lane going at it pretty hard here. Riven getting that damage down. Zion Spartan uses those attacks very well. You'll see him do one of his Qs, and then he'll attack, get one off, Q again, and he'll just extend it for as long as he can, giving himself maximum range, and then using his stun. And you see how much it just puts Renekton back there, so as with about 150 health. Again, Linek forced to take a lane, so Olaf's going to have some fun here. He is going to force towards mid, maybe creep up around the other side, or maybe go for Linek top and slow him down a little bit more.
Yep, getting a little bit of damage there on a Yellowstar at bottom lane. Zig doing some harassment, but actually I'm surprised Yellowstar is not taking nearly as much damage as I expected he would. I don't think he's even bead for potions. He just still has all 3. So, I mean, he doesn't even have like innate lifesteal. He's just not taking damage from this Urgot very much. I'm very, very surprised at that, but I guess it's working out for him. Nintendo actually camping top.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so smart because Renekton will go down, will drop a ward, and then face check this brush, and there comes Nintendo, and Zion's coming down, his flash is down. Can they get the damage? Oh, good. Slice and dice coming out there, and he actually whiffs the axe. That was a nice juke there by Soaz. Another one comes out, but he's going to be fine.
I think Nintendo could have waited a few more seconds on that, allowed Riven to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I agree.
Attacking that fast allowed Soaz to go into emergency mode and get out of there as soon as possible. We do see Linak pushing that mid bush. He could get the twisted advance on well in range. Could they get the flash frost as well? Hits right next to her and stuns. That double damage on the magic. But the twin fang and the poison could be enough with ignite. And again, no Moma lives with a sliver of health, turning around with petrifying gaze. No Moma goes down from the minions again. Linak living once again with 150, but here comes the Nintendude. Oh, twisted advancing away, and he did level a bit. That's going to give him some health. Reckless swing for the takedown. Linak falls, and once again, Moma will go down to minions, unfortunately, not having a good game in mid. We see Corki going for a check on Baron, but he comes back down, and they are going to just go back to the laning phase. Right now, that mid and top focus by MM is spectacular.
Yeah, dude, and I gotta hand it, Mr. Paradoxical is playing ridiculously well. He's gotten under heavy pressure in 2-on-1 ganks, and
so much
both
for that Just
times
Morgana, right?
Came out ahead. Yeah, seriously, so much for that Just Morgana. I think there's a second ban coming out in this this next game, because you don't want to deal with that Cassiopeia anymore. He's playing really, really well. All right, let's see. Momo coming back into the lane, though, going for a Catalyst as soon as he can. Actually, here's something interesting. He did not go for a very heavy magic resist build. You can see his magic resist right now only, let's see, 36, so only really relying on, I think, just masteries for the MR here. So you normally see pretty much every mage in mid go flat MR glist. You can see that the 43 MR on Mr. Paradoxical is the reason he's living these fights is that rune difference. Honestly, it's a very big deal there. So Momo, I think, losing out on the early game. But here comes a stab there at the blue buff. Linak, and they've been found. Let's see if they go for any damage here. Pixel 3 has full mana, can definitely go for it. They've got the ward down. Now, will they stay up for this? His smite is up.
They
Linak
have
is
really
as well.
good positioning.
They did get it again. Linak's been stunned now. There's Paradoxical. They're going to go in for Linak. Down to half health, and he will fall right now. 4 kills to 0. They've stolen every blue buff so far.
Riven taking Soaz down near Baron. Actually, Soaz getting pretty hurt, but Zion taking, ultimate. That ultimate doing more damage for the health you are missing, and we did see that Soaz was quite low, so in a 1v1, Zion just too strong right now. Soaz has to be careful about that, and no, the lane is for farming now, not for fighting a Riven.
Wow, so that is all kinds of great. They're 5-0 right now, up 3,000 gold. Monomaniac doing an excellent job, and Zig actually got the blue buff there, so he's going to be really having fun against Yellowstar right now. He's got to back all the way off, cannot pressure against his Urgot. That's getting pretty scary for him. Science Spartan just farming behind the turret, of course. A little bit of singed farming, if you will.
Right, yeah, that's always discouraging when the person's able to push past your turret. The minions are doing full damage to the turret, but that's also good for Zion because he can keep that lane. He's been winning it. All he wants to do is farm. His team is not in need of that 150 gold from the turret, so he'll push that lane, allow the minions to just tick down so he is doing damage, and then later they can go up and pop it. So great strategy there by him. We see Nintendude also backing, has a little bit of money under his belt. Got about 700 gold to spend, and it looks like he's going for a little bit more health. Bottom lane really hasn't been getting much love, but they're not really giving us much action either. Pretty much a pretty good farming lane. We do have Urgot on 68, and as you said, pushing off Corki a little bit. Yellowstar still has 60, so he is in range, not really losing that creep score count. And they're trying to freeze the lane as much as possible, you can see.
Oh, they actually didn't go for the steal on red this time, though. Mackay's going to get that one for free. They have spotted Paradoxical, and he was actually coming up. I'm going to laugh if he steals this out of nowhere. Oh, no. Okay, Mackay's going to have red. But he can get caught. The wall reveals him. Momo could go for some pain here. Paradoxical's ultimate is up. There's Soaz. Gets the slow, but not the stun. Momo should have egg. Paradoxical looks like he's going to go down here. Nice kill picked up there by Soaz, but here comes the rest of MM. They're going to jump in onto Soaz. Oh, they're going to back off now. It's a 2v3. So good comeback there by Against All Authority. They managed to pin there on that Cassiopeia, and that was the right play.
Yeah, that was a great job to pinch there. Maokai getting that red buff and then pushing out to the right. A great wall by Moma, and you could see he was kind of, Paradox was like, I could flash out of this. Oh, wow, Renekton's top got stunned and got taken out. So it was a good pincer by Against All Authority. Definitely something that was necessary for them. They need something to really kick this up. They're on their heels right now with the attacks of Monomaniac just being so strong. Those early ganks, they were able to get 2 kills in the first 3-4 minutes. Now 5-1 here as we reach your 10-minute mark. We're going to get some wards on Dragon from Pixel. And a pretty nice warding actually going on from Monomaniac, all in the tri-bush, up by Wraiths as well. And then again, all across the other side of the map, you know, aAa doing what they can to keep their wards as well.
Yeah, aAa, Against All Authority does have 2 good aggressive wards, one by the Wraith Camp, one at Tri-Brush at bottom lane. But you just see that the map vision here, they had 4, the 2 just timed out right there. But yeah, Monomaniac's map vision is everywhere. They can pretty much see every jungle camp. And they've been using that map vision to get a lot of ganks here. However, they don't know that Leonock is right here in that brush. And he wants to go in there. They've actually now warded there to see them coming in. And they're just waiting for them to overextend a little bit. This lane will eventually push towards Against All Authority's side. And Leonock should not... Oh, okay, they're going to go in. He's just been clairvoyance. They're going to stay back out there. Yep, he will just run away.
Zion still pushing soAa's back to his tower. You can see how much tankier he is. 9-7 up top. Zion Spartan is level 9, so that means soAa's can definitely not take that fight on. We do see Cassiopeia challenging Wraiths on Moma in mid. I think Moma was able to grab most of those.
Yeah, still up those 17 minions right now, though, as a result from all those stabs there. The bottom lane as well. Oh, actually a push in on Yellowstar. He's down to 1/3 health, trying to flash away. Zig does not land that Q, but there's Nintendude. Can Yellowstar get away from this? No, he cannot. True damage combos in, and that is another kill. 6-1 now. Stretching their lead to almost 4,000 gold here. It looks like Mono wants to push all the way in. You can see them auto-attacking over and over, trying to push in towards that turret. And try to get to the turret before anyone can react and defend and get those minion last hits well.
A very nice job there. Nintendude acts on the right place at the right time play. Looks like Leonock is now forced to go bottom once again. Nintendude X definitely sees that, and we are going to go Paradoxical going up. Yep, Wraiths just spawned. He has that just timed right now. Blue buff on. Moma does not have his, though. So it looks like he's going to be able to grab this. And, no, wait. There he goes. He's going to leave the other ones. Actually got a few of them. Only about 5 gold, so that'll be nice for him to grab the big Wraith, get another 30, 40 gold. And back to Moma in middle. Now they both have that pretty good pushing ability, so this lane is pretty much just reset every time it goes off. There we go. The minion's going to come back. They return to their jungles and try to get some resources. But right now, Paradoxical using this to move around and start to roam. See if you can get a gank here.
They know blue's coming up pretty soon. They've been on it over and over. 12:45, so the blue buff has been cumulatively alive for 55 seconds. It's been dying that fast every time, so that is actually pretty impressive there by these players. And up there comes Paradoxical in there. I think Leonock doesn't know he's around. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, that was nice play. They had that time. He forced Anivia back and then stole it right under his nose. That was excellent. And the thing is, Enraider did not run Clairvoyance, and you can kind of tell the difference in map vision has actually allowed a lot of these victories for Monomaniac. They've been spotting guys across the map. They say, oh, Maokai in this brush? Nope, Clairvoyance. And they've just been doing that so phenomenally well. CV, I think, might just still be mandatory for these teams.
Well, that's different. soAa's, is he keeping himself up in creep score? He is 88 to Riven's 102, so he's falling behind a little bit. Would have thought you'd see a GP10 on him, but you don't see one on Riven either. More or less that damage mitigation. Wriggles on soAa's. Zion going for the quick Ninja Tabi. And it looks like they're going to face off again, and this is the point where soAa's becomes scary, and he can actually fight that even though he's 2 levels down now. He does have his ultimate up, and he's getting pretty tanky, and his ability to stun. Oh, wow. Paradox getting caught down by Wraiths. I just saw that happen as Moma and Leonock working together to make it. Nintendude kind of roaming. He's going to steal some free XP here in mid. And it looks like Zion's actually finally pushed out of his lane for once.
Yeah, and that actually should give a chance for them to try to invade the jungle here of Monomaniac. You know, now that Olaf has to kind of sit there and babysit, but the problem is no major buffs are up. The only ones you can kind of get to are the wolves and the golems, which are both very, very safe and hard to get to. So they're just going to have to stagnate, kind of recall, buy some items. But they're going to be happy to finally get some extra gold on their side. What's up?
Oh, no. Okay, so Enraider just went to place 2 wards. You go ahead and look at those down bottom, and neither of them went over the wall for him. So he went and he's tried, and he was like, ah, derp. And then he did again, and he's like, forget about it. There's 150 gold.
Yeah, well, I'm going to laugh when an invade comes in and they just catch Cassiopeia. Like, watch it be the best word of the game. I'm calling it now. I'll be wrong, but just saying, I'm going to really like if that's true. Oh, yeah, and he actually put a sapling down to reveal it, and Derek's like, nope. All right, let's see. They actually are kind of pacing themselves close to mid. Dragon is back up. I think they want Cassiopeia to shove and then turn around, but you see Anivia, Renekton, Maokai all coming down. Riven knows as well, so they are going to all meet up here. This ward is actually really, really well placed. They can see all of Monomaniac kind of sitting up and waiting for it. I don't think they can do the damage in time. They've got to be careful. They do have that ward. They do see that soAa's there. He's been poisoned as well. They're definitely going to go for a fight here. Nice sapling toss. Oh, Zig's going to go for the swap on a Momo. Can they do enough damage, though? Oh, he's been walled up. That was amazing. Zig not going to be happy right now. Zion Smart in the middle as well. Exhaust does go off, and there is Zig going down. And Raider's been stunned. Can they pick up the kill? They will. But here comes Yellowstar. He's out of mana, though. Pixel 3 running away, has to flash. There's soAa's still up in the front. Nice stuns there. Nintendude down very, very low on health, but he's still running away as that Olaf. Paradoxical gets his poison off, and soAa's very low, and actually they've managed to wrest control from this.
Yeah, that was a really tough fight for MM. Aragon got sucked in there. He went for the change, but Paradox could not get any of that DPS down from Twin Fang. It was only the tanky people that could get into that fight. It was a little choked off, so MM did lose one in that. They recovered quite well, though, and they're going to go ahead and grab Dragon, so they just negated that entire fight anyway. Yeah,
it was 1-1, and they managed to pull up the Dragon, so excellent by them still to pull that one through. Really thought after that amazing Anivia wall, they could have turned something out with that, but it just seemed to not be the case there. And I'm surprised Anivia didn't even die in that one. Like, she got swapped in the enemy team, and then they managed to pull it into a free kill. So that was excellent play there by Against All Authority, but ultimately, Monomaniac still pulling out advantages every fight.
Yeah, they are. Great Dragons, great control of the map right now. You can see how many wards just kind of line Middle River all the way down. It's like connect the dots all the way down to the 2 wards that N-Rated plays down there. So Against All Authority continuing to keep map control. They got to get these fights back into their favor. Right now, I'd say that we do have a little bit of a plus or advantage here towards Monomaniac, as they are up by about 4,000 gold right now.
All right, so that 4,000 gold lead, they're just going to hold on to it as long as they can. Now, the thing is, 4,000 gold doesn't mean as much when both teams have 40,000 gold. So they've got to make this lead either grow or they've got to do something with that lead. They've not picked up turret kills, or they have gotten dragons, and they are still up in kills, and that is really good. But we saw against Dignitas, they turned that early lead into a bunch of turrets and an even bigger lead, and I think that was the right play. They continue to play really well throughout this mid game, and I think they need to start taking some larger risks and making some bigger stabs. They still don't have an Oracles, which I'm surprised at, because there's such amazing map vision here, and if they get a chance to somehow learn what was happening throughout this game, it would be great for them to learn just how much N-rated wards, because they would get an early Oracles if they knew.
Moment trying to clear out this mid. Looks like they're going to steal his race from the side. Popped up by Howling Gale. The Flash Frost connect. Beautiful wall. The Petrifying Gaze misses. She is stuck on the wrong side. It looks like Paradox, caught out of position there going for Wraiths, is taken down. See, the great warding by Against All Authority is really proving useful for them right now.
That was absolutely excellent, and you've really got to learn. It is very hard to steal enemy Wraiths and get away with it. When you're against a really, really top caliber team, and Malkin's actually alive, you really can't go for these stabs so aggressively into their jungle. You will get caught out by CC teams. That is just what happened. And beautiful play, of course, by Against All Authority to capitalize on that. And they're giving blue to Yellowstar, because Momo had just picked that one up from Cassiopeia. So they're going to be really happy to wear 2 blue buffs against 0. And honestly, even with the gold advantage still being about 4K, Against All Authority can make this and use this as a push. They really can to use this extra mana and cooldown advantage just to spam and get some turrets.
Yeah, it's great for Corki to have that as well. For Valkyrie, he can get in and out of the fights a lot quicker. Not so much, it's still high cooldown, but for him to have that mobility and the damage that he does within a fight with Gatling is going to be really useful for him to be in and out. We got Zig just farming up against. His support is roaming around right now. There he is. Pixel coming back down to the lane after putting some wards out, because they are going to be pushed. It's a good rule of thumb. If you're ever past the river, start warding, especially if you're blue team, because you have Tribush behind you and gives the other team a little bit of an advantage.
Ooh, but here comes actually Maokai coming in on Zion Spartan in the top lane. All the cooldowns go off. Zion's going to have to be a little bit careful here. Does not land many of his CCs, and he's going to go down. Nice job Against All Authority. He did not have a ward to spot him coming in. That was excellent job. He just snuck in from the top, came down, and a great, excellent gank there. So Against All Authority turning this one around 5-7 right now, and they're getting these turret kills. They are going to start accruing these advantages. They brought this lead down to 2,000 gold, but they've now traded turrets back. But still, only 2 kills down. They've traded turrets. They're down 2 dragons. They will turn around the next one pretty. I think there's a good chance of that.
I see Paradox going down as well. They may have the blue again on timer, but they just gave it to Corki, so this might be a gank. And there they are going to back. They don't have any wards past the one in mid that they saw. And it looks like they're not going to give Paradox a chance to get off Petrifying Gaze again here, but he's still going for it. They're getting pretty deep into the jungle here.
Yeah, Paradox still waiting around. He wants to wait for these minions to come back together. He did not really get well revealed, but now I guess those 2 wards timed out before he could show up, so unfortunately he put him down a little bit too early. They would have spotted Cassiopeia coming in, but they knew she was coming anyway, so excellent job there, having that sort of foresight to know that they were getting ganked.
See if we have any really completed items. There is that Rod of Ages on Anivia. That's going to be helping quite a bit. Cassiopeia going for the Will of Ancients, keeping her alive in the fight. Not too much assist to the rest of the team. Not too much magic damage around. Olaf will get a little bit of spell vamp from that.
We're going to see that Momo just still crushing through these minions, has the Rod of Ages and the Sork Shoes. See if she goes for any more items. Yeah, it looks like everyone's actually going to recall Against All Authority. I think they know Dragon is coming up pretty soon, and they want to make sure they have full items, mana, and health coming into that fight.
Good ward by Zion. He sees Renekton going back to the top lane as it is pushed, so he'll have a little free time up there to get some golden experience to himself. Looks like we're going to have a good first push here by Monomaniac. They're going to be able to grab this turret as our first gather together, and they'll finally start to push these lanes.
That's really smart.
Down the second turret here. Renekton is top, so they can easily take any fight that comes at them as long as they're not too far into the turret. They're going to choose the back, though. Clear the resources in their jungle. Still wards all around, so they don't really have to worry about that. But like you said earlier, still no oracles, so we're going to have to see one of those soon. Oh, no. N-Rated has picked one up.
Yep, so there we go. The oracles on there is going to be really, really useful. Going to get that ward sweep going. They still have that pink ward over by Dragon. They put it earlier. Let's see. Urgot soloing bottom just as Renekton is soloing top. They're not picking up any kills just yet. You see Riven coming back over to the top lane, going to farm these minions up. A lot of gold being gained there. You can see they're starting to stabilize. 2-1, 173. 1-1, 171. So Renekton pretty much has caught up here with Against All Authority. And now they're actually, with that Oracle Sweep, they're waiting around for this Dragon respawn. And Monomaniac are not going to be able to stop this if it spawns in the next 5 seconds. So, and I think it is going to spawn just after the 22-minute mark. And it's going to be Against All Authority pretty much for free. You're going to see Leonok taking it up, more Savings coming down, and no one from Mono is stopping them. They're going to grab their blue Paradoxical, but they've stopped dominating this mid game. So Against All Authority have completely stabilized. And they're going to turn this one into possibly a very good end game. Or we can see if Mono have learned how to play the end game between yesterday and today.
This is going to be pretty scary. Now, Against All Authority is going to, unless these fights happen completely out in the open or like right over a ridge where Paradox is right now, it's not going to be Monomaniacs in favor because they're not going to have the direction they need to get this damage down. A great Janna ulti will stop the fight as they walled off as well to escape from that situation. But as I was saying, Paradox needs to be able to see everybody. We saw the one fight happen just below mid-turret where he wasn't able to get any DPS out because it was so choked, and that's where Moma just throws down his ulti. Yellowstar can sit on the outside with Gatling and hit everybody that's trying to funnel in. So they just have a really good team that can fight in a tight area. We're going to have to see if Monomaniac can start these fights out in the open.
And Paradoxical, again, going for a very heavy offense build. So I talked about earlier about Cassiopeia. Normally they go for like Ryleys. I've seen Vormogs. He's going full offense. He's going Sork Shoes. He's already got the Voda, but he's going for a Death Cap again, which is much like his Morgana from the prior series against Dignitas. We're going to see if this ends up panning out for him. This pure offense, high damage build. He's got a lot of gold. The thing is, now he's 2 and 3. He's actually negative in kills, so we'll see that ends up being a very big issue. Also, Against All Authority, re-upping their blue buff, so Anivi's going to be nice and happy again. Also, by the way, going for, looks like a Death Cap there. With that needlessly large rod picked up. They finally do have an Oracles as well on Mono. They're going to really like that because there are a lot of wards to earn gold from. Oh my gosh, they're actually going for Baron right away. Anivia is super far off on the map, and Cassiopeia has amazing DPS. She actually walk in closer to get a lower cooldown on that Twin Fang, but they could blitz this down in time. I think it's down to 1/3. Soa's nearby, Leonok is nearby. I think they should keep going for this one. Can they get this? Yes, they do get it, and Soa's now flashing over the wall. Can they get him down in time? Yellowstar and Leonok are both there. Yes, Soaz goes down, and there's a swap by Yellowstar. He's not going to live through this. Oh my gosh, Monomaniac bringing that one around. 5,000 gold up, a great wall for Momo. By the way, maxes that second after Frostbite, puts 2 in Flash Frost, then goes for that max wall, using that for the utility there, and definitely needed that wall right there. So can MM push through? They have 20 seconds of 5v3 and with Baron buff. They should get at least 1 turret.
Looks like they are going to be able to grab this turret. They're just going to go past it, actually, and look for the kills so they can go longer on these turrets. But Great Wall is going to section them off. They're going to be forced to take a few turret shots to the face, but this turret is going to be theirs as they move into the first inhibitor turret of the game. It looks like Spartan is just going all out on this one. Straight aggression. He is going to walk past, so he loses that turret aggro, and they're going to go ahead and grab this.
Oh my gosh, they're going to get 1 turret. They should be. They will. Okay, yeah.
Great.
So the inhib was up. The problem is everyone had respawned from Against All Authority. They were all alive. Do not dedicate yourself to an inhibitor when they've all respawned. You've probably blown a lot of cooldowns. You're not all full health. You can see Zig at about 2/3. The same for Tarek. They don't want to fight kind of undermanned in that way. So you're going to send Zion Spartan to B. He's going to buy up some items. Has some armor already, so we'll see what else that turns into. Nintendo, though, going to be 1v4ing mid lane. Tarek.
Against All Authority came out of the base on that one looking for blood. All 5 down lane. They didn't even have a minion wave yet, and now they're going to disperse into the jungle. Possibly clear some of these resources. Linak leaves Wraith. It looked like blue was gone, though. He may not have had vision on it, but they may have grabbed that away. Yellowstar looking for a red, but he is not going to find it. Make it a bottom push here. Since Baron is gone, they can kind of focus any lane they want. They don't really have to be in any certain position for an objective.
I'm actually surprised they didn't counter push mid for this turret. It's at half. They said everyone to go farm minions. They will get bottom. That's a decent trade there. But mid was pretty much free there, and they didn't really pressure it that hard. I'm a little bit surprised they would do that. But wow, MM immediately shoving back up top because there's Corki Renekton, and they're recalling in front of a turret. If a minion hits him, I would cry a little bit inside, but they will just go for this inhibitor right now. They have time, but problem is, 2 are far away, and Maokai in from behind. They could get pinched now into a 4v5. He's going to go for the haze. They've caught up with Zion Spartan. He has a GA, though, so he might survive this. A lot of pain coming out here. A good wall as well, and there's Soaz with the stun. Zion Spartan will be forced. No, he's still getting back, and there's a swap on a Linak, and they're going for the damage here. He's at half, and there's a giant stun in a moment. There goes 1. There goes 2. Yellowstar might die to poison. Can they get a range? Yes! They picked up 3 kills here. This will be an inhibitor, and it could even be the game. They've actually picked up 4. Sorry, Jana. The only one left here. Zig's going to face tank a turret with about 260 armor. And this could be it. The turret's down to half health right now.
Yeah, that was a very great job, and it's exactly the Paradox to use the ult at the perfect time. Everybody on AAA wanted into the fight, and he was like, I think not. Great job there. And we are going to have your first game of the day going to Monomaniac in this best of 3.
Oh, man, and they've just gained so many fans right now from yesterday and today. Amazing performance against Dignitas. Unfortunately, of course, they did lose that series, but only barely. And this game, against Authority, I mean, one of the top teams in the world, right? One of the only 8 teams to qualify for this event, the only team to make it out of the Europeans, and, you know, Moscow 5 and CLG EU. A lot of really amazing teams came out of that qualifier against All Authority, one of the only 4 to make it through that quali.